The New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Foundation promotes, preserves, and perpetuates music, culture, and heritage through programs, cultural, educational, and economic activities year-round. Learn more at jazzandheritage.org.
I'm Peggy Scott Laborde, and welcome to Steppin Out, with updates from the local restaurant, arts, and entertainment scenes. Joining me, what a show, Poppy Tooker, host of Louisiana Eats on WWNO Radio. Hey, Poppy. Hey. Hello. Grammy Award winner and New Orleans-born guitarist and singer and composer, Leo Nocentelli. Welcome, Leo, to our show. And of course, long associated with the Meters, but so much more. He has a new album out that comes with quite a story that we'll be talking about. Welcome. Also with us, Doug MacCash, we're so glad, who covers the arts and local culture scenes for the Times-Picayune, NOLA.com, and the New Orleans Advocate. Hey.
Nice being here.
Hey. Alan Smason returns next week. Poppy, I understand that you may have a staycation suggestion.
Oh, do I? Well, I know you will join me in congratulating the Four Seasons New Orleans on their very first anniversary. They've been open down there in the former Trademark building for a year now, and oh my goodness, Travel and Leisure named it the best hotel in New Orleans, one of the best in the world. That was a $550 million gift to New Orleans they invested down there. They've welcomed over 70,000 guests. They've served over 3,000 whole fried chickens at Miss River. Over 35,000 oysters have been shucked at Chemin à la Mer, and 650 ounces of caviar have been served up in the Chandelier Bar. But also, they hosted my honeymoon recently. It's really the spot to go. This is the view from our suite on the 15th floor, a corner suite where I was able to see the cruise ship take off, where the bend in the river was so clearly illustrated that the ship disappeared and then came back into view. Now, the big news is, to celebrate right now, the third night is free. So make your reservations and head down to the Four Seasons Hotel, because you'll thank me for that. And another big anniversary, everybody's favorite Pick-a-Pepper sauce is celebrating their centennial. Now, they were 100 years old last year, but they didn't celebrate because of you-know-what. So Warback Sales, this is Cheryl Grevenberg's family, has been importing it from Jamaica for over 40 years. That's where all the Pick-a-Pepper sauce comes from. New Orleans is the single largest market for Pick-a-Pepper in the world. We can't get enough of that stuff over cream cheese. You know how that goes. And that's 100% natural ingredients: tomatoes, onions, cane vinegar, mangoes, raisins, peppers, and spices, all crafted down there in Jamaica. So we want to wish them a happy 100 years. And look at this wonderful gift pack that we've got to celebrate with. It contains all of the various Pick-a-Pepper sauces, because there's the original, there's the hot pepper sauce, there's a spicy mango sauce, a hot mango sauce, and a ginger mango sauce. So give it all a try to celebrate 100 years of Pick-a-Pepper sauce.
Thank you so much. And over to Leo. And Leo, we're so excited to have you on. My goodness, we could spend the whole half hour talking about your credentials. Of course, known very much for the Meters, but having played with Otis Redding and the Supremes and just so many wonderful folks. And a composer, Pocky A-Way and Sissy Strut. But let's talk about this very exciting part. It's sort of deja vu that you had recorded an album in the 70s. You thought that album had gone bye-bye, and take it from there.
Well, the album was recorded in 1971 due to the Meters. We didn't have a record deal. We had 3 records out on Josie, and they were hit records with Sissy Strut on them, but the label went defunct, and we found ourselves stagnant and not doing anything. So I wrote a few songs from an album. Actually, what attracted me to this whole idea was 2 albums, Mudslide Slim and Sweet Baby Jane by James Taylor, and it was like acoustic albums, and the lyrics and the words and what the stories were telling was and the chord progressions was overwhelming. I mean, I just fell in love with that idea, because I was writing songs like people say, you know, really simple things, but these were like stories. And so I wrote 10 songs, went in the studio and recorded them. This is 1971, and I got a group of guys to record them with me.
Including Alan Toussaint, I understand.
Alan Toussaint, my great friend. I miss him so much. Mm-hmm. And but right after that, after I did the 10, actually they were like demos, so to speak. It was like when you go in the studio and you tell the engineer, you say, look, make me a rough copy of this, I'm gonna see if I'm gonna keep it or not. So that's the way it was left. Then decades passed with it just sitting there, and I mean decades. Then Katrina happened. Katrina came in and destroyed C. Saint Studios.
And that's where they were housed.
Yeah, that's where they were housed. And like 10 feet of water, so I'm thinking everything is gone. So a couple of decades passed after that. Some guys bought the studio, found some tapes on the sidewalk, and it was a meter tapes, about 10 meter tapes, and one of the tapes was my little lowly quarter-inch tape, which I don't know how it survived, but
that was in California, which is kind of wacky, and how it, you know.
Well, it moved to California. They took the stuff and wanted to give it to the Grammys to see whether or not there's some value to it. So they had it in the storage space in L.A. So it got forgotten about by these people. And there's another couple of decades went by. It was just sitting there. So I'm thinking like this thing is, I'm not even thinking about it anymore. Yeah. And there's a guy by the name of Mike Nikita, found these tapes at a flea market. The storage space got foreclosed on. So the storage space was bought by a flea market, a swap meet. So when you buy the storage space, you buy everything that's in it, the contents. The contents they bought it, and when they went to the swap meet, they put it all swirled on a table, all these tapes. And this guy knew the people on there, including he knew me. The Meters, Lee Dawson, and a couple of other people, and he called me, and he couldn't do anything with them, even though he bought them. So he called me up and said, "Hey man, listen, I got a tape of yours, you know." So I'm saying, "Oh, you do?" So when he mentioned these, he started rattling off the titles to the songs, and I was like flabbergasted. I was like, "Whoa." You know, I haven't heard those songs in over 50 years.
So Leo, so you connect then with Light in the Attic, who we have to thank for the fact that this has been reissued.
Yes.
Congratulations. And what I like, and everybody can go to lightintheattic.net, and of course Leo's got a great website himself, and you can download or you can order a CD. I love the fact that you have in this all kinds of formats, including vinyl and a purple, green, and gold vinyl too.
Not to mention cassettes.
And and cassettes as well.
Yeah.
Well, I'm so thrilled that you're gonna play one of those songs for us tonight. But before you do, would you please introduce the band?
Okay, from left to right.
We're gonna go. There we go.
My younger brother, Angelo Nocentelli, Angelo Nocentelli. Over here we have Stephen Perrilloux. Over here we have on a 12-string guitar accompanying me is Marc Stone.
All right.
And they're part of the group. This is not all the group, but you know, this is what I was able to bring here at
we're so glad you did. And you're going to be playing for us a little bit later, Thinking of Another Day, which is one of your compositions.
Yes.
So we'll be coming back to you shortly. But now it's time to move over to Doug.
Well, Peggy, in art, I think questions are better than answers, and that's why I would steer you down to the Historic New Orleans collection in the French Quarter for a couple of shows that provoke great questions in your mind. One of them is a work by Bob Tannen, the town's great conceptual artist. Back in 1982, Bob Tannen made a very streamlined sheet metal version of Jackson Square, and it's on display in the Historic New Orleans collection now. But as you can see, there's something missing. His model of Andrew Jackson is not in the middle of the square, as you'd imagine. It is in a plexiglass box on the wall. Well, this provoked all kinds of questions in your mind. Why was Jackson removed from Jackson Square? Politics come to mind, of course, because history is ambivalent about Jackson's role. He was the hero of the Battle of New Orleans, but he was also principal in the ethnic cleansing of Native Americans. And so you immediately leapt to the conclusion that there must have been some political reason for removing him. Not so. Both Bob and the museum say that they were just worried about the foot-tall statue of Jackson getting swiped from the museum. Same is true when this piece was originally on display in a Poydras Street office building. So, nonetheless, all of those questions that come to mind about history are provoked by the piece and Jackson's absence, and I would certainly give that a look. Take a look at all the Post-it notes on the wall where people express their opinions. It's wonderful.
Yeah.
Cross the street, cross Royal Street, and in another part of the Historic New Orleans collection, you'll find a pastel drawing by a famous artist named Jules Leon from New Orleans. The Historic New Orleans collection, paid $704,000 for this drawing. And it's a wonderful drawing, but we know just this much about it. The drawing seems to depict the rare circumstance of a white father acknowledging his black son in antebellum New Orleans, which of course would have been a taboo at the time. But these days there are lots of questions. For instance, the artist Jules Leon, he was long thought to be a free man of color in that community in New Orleans. And more recent studies suggest that he was a Jewish immigrant from Paris. The identities of the two men in the drawing are logical, but not but unproven. So we're not even sure of who they are. And since we're not sure who they are, their relationship is unknown. And more than one onlooker has suggested that maybe this was not a portrait of a father and son, it was a portrait of gay lovers. So there's
Lots
all
of
of that
questions.
to think about.
A whole
Lots
lot.
of questions, yeah.
Okay, thank you, Doug. And back over to Poppy.
Well, Peg, I'm not going to sing this year. I often do. I break into that little Christmas song about the most wonderful time of the year, because I know you wait all year long for culinary. It's culinary time again. It's coming back August 1st through the 31st. Much to my surprise, the prices stayed at 2 courses for $25 or less at lunch and 3 courses at $45 or less at brunch or dinner. Now, think how much food is costing at the grocery store. This is an incredible bargain. So head on over to Brown Butter in Mid-City. Their lunch is just $22, and it includes that beautiful sugarcane lacquered smoked brisket. Yum. So go see our friends over there. And then this is big news that the Palace Cafe has finally reopened after renovation, and we're going to talk about that more next week. But in the meantime, they're open for dinner only Wednesday through Sunday, not lunch yet. $45 for their culinary meal that includes turtle soup and that beautiful andouille crusted redfish you just saw. And then we're going to run back to Mid-City real quick for another favorite spot, Fry Smoked Meat on North Carrollton. Their lunch is just $19.50. Their dinner is just $24.50, and that's pork belly poppers, pulled pork nachos, the sausage dog. You can also add on a cocktail of the day for just an additional $5. So lots of bargains. It's that wonderful time of year again, Peg. Go to culinary.com or NewOrleans.com culinary to see this. There are over 79 restaurants participating.
Wow, thank you so much, Poppy. And now I am so excited to introduce Leo and his band with his original composition, Thinking of the Day.
Thinking of tomorrow, but tomorrow never comes. I guess I'll be thinking of tomorrow till my life is done. Thinking of the day when I could be with you. I guess I'll be thinking of that day till my life is through. Sitting and waiting for the glorious day when I could hold you close and kiss you, pass the time away. Thinking of the moment when I could pull you tight, I could kiss you in the morning, squeeze you at night. Wish that you could hear me while I sing this song. My tomorrow might come real soon. It might not take too long.
Wow, thank you so much. And once again, album, CD, and wonderful. The another side, and as we said, you can go to lightintheattic.net, and we'll see Leo. He's going to close us out in a little bit on our show. But special thanks also to Jimmy and Zelmo for helping us out today too. We appreciate it. Thank you.
Good for being
Wonderful.
here. Thank you for having me.
What a pleasure. And over to Doug again.
Oh, gosh, talking about the Backstreet Cultural Museum has a new home. There's no more New Orleans museum than the Backstreet Cultural Museum. It's the place where you go to see unique New Orleans art forms like Mardi Gras Indian suits, second line costumes, baby doll outfits, skull and bone gangs, all of those things that you don't see anywhere else on earth. The Backstreet Museum has had a hard couple of years. The founder, Sylvester Hawk Francis, died in 2020 after running the museum for 10 or 11 years himself. In 2021, almost exactly a year later, it was damaged by Hurricane Ida, which left the roof leaking and all of the wonderful feathers and beadwork and everything else at risk. Lucky for everyone, Dominique Dilling Francis, his daughter, grabbed the reins, took over the museum, with the help of volunteers, boxed everything up and put it in storage until they could find a new place to go. They were in a former funeral home on Henrietta DeLisle Street in the Treme, and they moved just a few blocks to a former bar room on St. Philip Street. And the new place is splendid. It's just wonderful, right down to the tiled floor that just seems to match the craftwork in the suits and costumes perfectly. Anyway, it is reopened. It is back in business, and I'd encourage just everybody to go there and take a look. It is a treasure chest.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Doug. And anticipating their upcoming Antique Forum and an autumn exhibit on New Orleans' Spanish colonial years and architecture, the Historic New Orleans Collection is producing actually a mini documentary that will be online on their website starting August the 2nd, focusing on remnants of Spanish-influenced architecture. Here is an exclusive excerpt narrated by art historian Anne Masson.
The search for remnants of Spanish colonial architecture begins at the Cabildo, one of the few buildings remaining from the years between 1762, when the Treaty of Fontainebleau granted possession to Spain, and 1803, when the colony became part of the United States. Completed in 1799, it was built along with its sister building, the Presbytère, following the devastating fires of 1788 and 1794 that twice destroyed the greater part of New Orleans. Only a few buildings survived, and thus most of the Spanish colonial architectural legacy was destroyed more than 2 centuries ago. Some notable products of the building boom following the fire still exist, but the influence of Spain and its colonies lasted well beyond the transfer to the United States, which took place in this building.
And go to hnoc.org/antiques to view the entire video, as I said, starting August the 2nd. Congratulations to Anne Masson, who wrote it, and Xiomara Blanco, who was the producer on it. Lots of hard work there, too. Now it's time for our Picks of the Week. Poppy.
It's not too late to have some Tales of the Cocktail fun tomorrow from noon until 5 down on Frenchman Street. Hit it for Pig and Punch. Tickets are $40. It's 5 hours of barbecue put on by the Hogs for the Cause crew. Lots of punch. It'll be fun.
Okay, Leo. Once again, that website, sir. What's your website?
Nocentelli.com.
Okay, good. And Light in the Attic. Light in the Attic too. .net actually.
Oh, I just want to mention one thing. If I got a minute, be sure to come check the show out. That's going to be the debut after the Jazz Fest. I'm going to be doing the whole album at Tipitina's on November the 4th.
Oh, good. Okay.
Be sure to check that out.
All right, great. Thank you, Doug.
Oh, make your way over to the Ogden Museum of Art for another one of those most talked about paintings. This is Belisaire and the Fry Children, an 1837 painting that included a enslaved teenager who was painted out of the painting and then restored. The questions include why, when was he painted out, when was he restored, all of those things. Wonderful painting.
Oh my goodness, thank you very much. And by the way, my picks, I am told that the Antiques Museum, the forum coming up at the HNOC may have a few slots left, so go to hnoc.org for more details. The annual NOLA Christmas Fest at the Montreal Convention Center is having a free Jolly in July event this Saturday at 6:30 p.m. at the Montreal Convention Center. Local snowball vendors will be offering up samples, and you can vote on your favorite. Bigger sizes and other refreshments are available too. You can have photos taken with Santa, and there will be a screening of the film Frozen, how appropriate, at 7:45. And you can park in Lot F. The event is on the Live Oak porch across the street. Go to NOLAChristmasFest.com for details. Speaking of snowballs, my husband Errol and I visited Hanson's Snow Blizz uptown on Choppatulas. And of course, their unique shaved ice and handmade flavorings continue the tradition of founders Ernest and Mary Hanson. And their granddaughter Ashley is now at the helm. I got a chocolate with condensed milk. There's Evan making mine. And he had a lemon tart, which was one of Miss Mary's favorite flavors. Can you believe it? Over 80 years in the business. There's Errol. It's open from noon to 6, Wednesdays through Saturday. And even though the outdoor sign says 7 p.m. And now we're hearing Hey Pocky A-Way with Leo and his band. Thank you for watching. Good night.
Vamp on out. Hey, Pocky A-Way. Hey, Pocky A-Way. People, let me hear you say. Hey, Pocky A-Way. Hey, Pocky A-Way. People, let me hear you say.
Hey, Pocky A-Way.
Hey, Pocky A-Way.
Hey, Pocky A-Way.
People, let me hear you say.
Hey, Pocky A-Way.
Hey, Pocky A-Way.
Hey, Pocky A-Way.
The New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Foundation promotes, preserves, and perpetuates music, culture, and heritage through programs, cultural, educational, and economic activities year-round. Learn more at jazzandheritage.org.